Great report, great Western. Got that clip ready? It's a great clip, by the way. You picked out a fantastic clip. I want to thank you for that. All right, Marvin, let's do it. Good afternoon. I'm Steve S.H. Walters reporting for Breaking News 500 here in beautiful Vero Beach, Florida. Today's topic is the film Hombre. Now, before we get on to Hombre, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please take a second and subscribe. We greatly appreciate you, and we appreciate our loyal subscribers. Thank you for that subscribe. Now let's get right to it. Hombre. Well, Hombre was released in 1967, directed by Martin Ritt. Stars Paul Newman, Fredrick March, Richard Boone, and Diane Cilento. Now, the basic story is this. Paul Newman plays the part of John Russell. Now, John Russell, he's a white man raised by Apaches. He's really more Apache than anything else. He agrees with their way of doing things, their thinking, their lifestyle, but he knows both sides. He knows the white man's side and the Apache side. And he's hombre. And hombre in Spanish means man. He's all man. Now, he ends up on a stagecoach traveling, and the stagecoach gets robbed by outlaws. And the people on the stagecoach, they're in a dire, stranded situation, and they really rely on John Russell because he's hombre. They see his knowledge. They see his experience. They see that he can gut it. He has cojones. They really need him. And he kind of becomes the leader, not wanting to be the leader, but they kind of follow his lead. Now, we've got a great clip that Marvin picked out of John Russell in a white man's bar, and he's an Apache, and he has a little incident. Well, I won't tell you another word. Let's just get to the clip. Are you ready? You're ready. Are you ready? You're ready. Let's do it, Marvin. Roll the clip.
Say, how are you? I am John Russell. I own the Russell place. Put yourself on the winning side for a change. Is that where you were? A Mexican is closer than a white mountain Apache, I can tell you that.
I guess anybody can come in here.
Yeah?
If they allow Indians. Hey, when did they start letting Indians drink? Maybe they've been drinking that Apache slop they make out of cactus juice. Tisma? Yeah, that's right, Tisma. Maybe that's where they bought the nerve to come in here. It'd take a week with Tisma. They got time. What else they got to do? That ain't Tisma. That's mezcal. Yeah, that's mezcal. Well, that's still not allowed. Not even sticky sweet Mex drinks. Not for Indians. Oh, look at that. They just can't hold the liquor. They sure can. Nobody knows why. Just a fact of nature.
No more, huh? Before you leave, you put money on the bar for mezcal.
What do you think about that clip? Put the money on the bar for the mezcal. You see, John Russell knows how to handle a situation. He's all hombre, man. He knows how to handle it. He's all man. Really is a great story and a great film, and I love that scene. Marvin picked it out and did a great job with that. Now, this film was a success. They had a budget of $5 million. They did just over $12 million at the box office. It wasn't a huge success, but it was a successful film. They didn't get any awards, but they got 3 nominations. Steve McQueen was really up for the part of John Russell, but he turned it down because he played in another movie as a half-breed, so he wasn't interested in doing this film, and the part went to Paul Newman. And I think Paul Newman did a fantastic job. Steve McQueen later stated after the release of the film that he thought this was one of the best roles that Paul Newman ever played. And Sean Connery, he was married to Diane Cilento, who played the part of Jesse in the film. And he states that this is one of his favorite movies of all time. Maybe partly because his wife was in the film, and she did do a great job, and it is a great story. Now, Paul Newman always referred to Jesse in the film as Lady. He never would call her by his name. He kind of did it in a way where it was a little disrespectful, like, Lady? Like, I'm going to lay down the law, lady. Are you ready for this, lady? I'm going to tell you how it is, lady. I think that's pretty good. He kind of kept her in her place, so to speak. Now, this film was a success, as I'm saying, but we don't want to give it a lot of reviews because the reviews were mixed. But we got something a little special for you. We got quotes from the movie, which I think are really good. 4 different scenes or quotes from the film. I'm going to put Marvin back to work, and I'm going to read these quotes. Now, if you've seen the film and you hear these quotes from the film, you're going to want to go see it again. And if you haven't seen the movie, after listening to these quotes, if I do it justice, which I'll do it justice, you're going to want to go see this film. It is a great film. So I'm going to put Marvin back to work. You know what I'm going to ask for, Marvin? We've got movie quotes. Drum roll, please. Thank you, Marvin. All right, let's get to the movie quotes from the film. What do we got here? Now, we got a scene where Outlaw Grimes is smoking a cigar, and Audrey Favor, one of the women in the film, is talking to him. And Grimes is smoking a cigar, and he says, "Smoke bothers you?" And she says, "Would you put it out if I said it did?" And he says, "Oh, yeah. My mama taught me to take off my hat, put out my cigar in the presence of a woman. And if I take anything else off, that depends how lucky I get." That was pretty good. John Russell to Outlaw Grimes. He's coming up this hill. There's a negotiation going on. And he says, "Hey, I got one question. How you plan on getting down that hill?" And Outlaw Grimes says, hey, now wait a minute. I'm going right back down that hill the same way I came up." Well, he starts to go down, and John Russell shoots him. That was pretty good. And there's a scene with John Russell and Jesse, who I had mentioned that was played by Diane Cilento, married to Sean Connery. And John Russell says, "The dead are dead. You ought to bury them." And Jesse says, "I'm sure that's good advice. Trouble is, Mr. Russell, I think you feel the same way about the living." The last one we got is a good scene with Audrey Favor and John Russell. And she says to John Russell, "I can't imagine eating a dog and not thinking anything of it." She's talking about the Indians and how they live. And he responds, "Have you ever been hungry, lady? Not just for supper, but hungry where your belly swells?" And she says, "I wouldn't care how hungry I got. I wouldn't eat one of those camp dogs." And he says, "You'd eat it, and you'd fight for the bones." And she says, "Have you ever ate dog, Mr. Russell? Eaten one, lived like one." Makes you think. You can see this film on Microsoft, Bing, Amazon, Prime Video, and I'm sure a few other places. Now I want to hear your comments about this film. It's not your typical Western, but it's got some great scenes in it. It's got a great story to it, and it makes you think about the things that are going on and how people handle these type of situations and how people are, how your character comes out when things get tough. I think it's a great film. I want to thank Martin for the great clip. I want to thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this report. I'm Steve S.H. Walters for Breaking News 500. Have a great day.